above average crew, I wanted to hop on here and talk about this B.Simone scandal dragging, and just kind of give you my opinion. So coming from another Black woman, I'm here to tell you that Black women are allowed to have a standard. In fact, Black women are allowed to have multiple standards. You can't get mad at someone who knows what they want and they have a preference, even if that thing isn't you. See, a lot of people think that Black women are just supposed to like who likes them or take anything. And when they want something that's over the status quo, people get offended. And I think that a large group of people are upset from one or two things. You have a lot of men that are upset because she's a fantasy to them, right? She's a crush. And it hurts that their crush, a woman that they've never met, who doesn't know they even exist, who, even if they tried to DM her, she would not respond to the DMs, doesn't want them. And so that just goes into a whole bunch of like male fragility, male ego, all that stuff. And it's really crazy. You need therapy. People need therapy. Because guess what? Everybody is not gonna be your type. And you are not gonna be everybody's type. And that's okay, right? There are people that don't want to date Black girls. I've even had somebody say, you know what, I only date white girls, but for you, I'll date you. And I just move them onto the side because that's not a compliment. That's actually very offensive. But guess what? That's not my type. And I'm not their type. And we move on. We find people whose type we are, who want to be with us. And that is where we focus our attention, right? The same thing can be said about Chris Brown. Chris Brown is not going to be with no brown-skinned girl. That's facts. Now, do people spend all day dragging, or would you be more prosperous with your time if you just found somebody that looks like Chris Brown that actually wants to be with the brown-skinned girl? Right? So I think that is just the number one. Then you have a lot of women who are upset because they wish that they could say that they had a type. They wish that they could say that this is what I want. Or they wish that they hadn't have chosen who they chose because they were so excited or, desperate or forced to settle just for the sake of having a man. And then they see that there's a whole bunch of other really great guys out there that they should have maybe given a chance or looked for. But it's prerogative. It's your prerogative if you just want to date an athlete. It's your prerogative if you just want to date an engineer. It's your prerogative if you just want to date a Nigerian. It's your prerogative if you just want to date a pastor. It's your prerogative if you just want to date a lawyer. It's your prerogative if you just want to date white men. It's your prerogative if you just want to date Asian men. It's your prerogative if you want to date a drug dealer. It's your prerogative. You have that right. You have that right to decide what works for you. People shouldn't be offended over that. You have a right to decide what kind of mate you're going to get for your life. You have a right to say, I have a preference and there's a certain type that I want. And you shouldn't be dragged for it. You have a right. It's nobody's business. If you want even abusive, like that's your right. Now, is it toxic? We'll have other issues, possibly, but that's your right as a human. We're not in a dictatorship country. You can choose all these things for yourself. So that's the second thing. Now let's dive into what she's saying. Now we can all agree, her delivery was condescending. Her delivery, a lot of times, is not what you say, it's how you say it. Her delivery is an issue. 2, she wasn't considerate of her followers. As a public figure, you can have the power and you have a platform. So sometimes you just can't be blunt and say things like you would having a girl talk conversation, right? You have to be considerate of your followers. And if a lot of your followers do have 9-to-5 jobs, do you really want to piss them off? That's the question you need to ask yourself, because that's what happens. Now, for her saying, I want a boss, I don't think that she's saying that she wants a struggling entrepreneur, because we have those as well. I don't think that she's saying that she wants a struggling 9-to-5er. I think that people, if people need to understand there's levels to this. The person that is the bag boy has a different mindset than the person that is the account executive or senior leader and all that stuff. So let's not act like all 9-to-5ers are the same, they think the same, they have the same lifestyle, they have the same paycheck, because that's just not the case. And let's also not negate that a lot of 9-to-5ers also have their own business or other streams of income, properties, taxes, eBay flipping. Like, people do that. So let's not act like there's just one or two. However, from my personal experience, I understand to a certain extent. Like, I don't just only date entrepreneurs. I don't just only date 9-to-5ers. My preferences are a little bit different, and that's for another day and another video. If you guys want to know those, comment below and I'll make a video about what I want and what my preferences are. But what I will say is this. I had a person that I met through YouTube. He was a fan and we became friends. And this was very short-lived because I automatically knew that this wasn't going to be something that I could take on long-term romantic-wise. And let me tell you why. This mentality is what I consider the 9-to-5 mentality. The 9-to-5 mentality is when you are in a situation where you're in a career that has no upward trajectory. So there's no room for improvement. There's no room for moving forward within the business. Your salary is less than $75,000. And you're barely making ends meet as is working full time. But you're not moving forward in any way to take yourself out of that situation. In fact, you've been with this company for 4 years or more, and you're just literally wasting away your years. But you want to do better. But you don't have the time or even mentality to figure out what that next thing is. That type of person I could never date, because that is a frustrating position. This particular situation, for an example, is, hey, I want to do YouTube. You're doing YouTube. Let's like be each other's accountability partner. Okay, great. So my YouTube videos are going out, boom, boom, boom. For him, no video. Week after week after week. In the last 6 months, there's been one video. That's frustrating. You know what I mean? And we're checking in weekly. Hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm doing all this stuff. I got a whole list of things that I've checked out. And he had nothing but excuses. Well, I've been working my job. I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. We're in a pandemic and still trying to Uber. Again, frustrating. You don't see the outside. You don't see your outside surroundings. You're just like, going to just keep going. It's going to be good soon. It's going to be good soon. And it's like, no, it's not. We're in a pandemic. There is no cure. People are sheltering in place. Even if things are restricted, people are sheltering in place. People are not going out as much as they are. There are no large events. Concerts, music festivals, food festivals canceled. Where is everybody going? You know? But still doing that inability to change. Then it was like, you know what? I'm going to take overtime hours and make all this money. Okay. I'm here as a resource because I'm over here looking at different businesses. I'm enrolled currently in an eBay flipping course. Like, there is just money to be made, and I'm guaranteed and forcing myself to learn. And that's that type of mentality that I need. That's the type of mentality that is attracted to me. That is also what I'm attracting. What ended it, because I've been blocked at this point. What ended it for us was he was talking about, okay, I figured it out. I'm going to do this overtime, and that's going to give me the money and bring me back up. So I'm like, okay, well, how much money are you making overtime? Overtime for 1 week, making an extra $300. That's not enough money considering that you're behind because of Uber and everything else. Like, that's not an end solution. And the fact that he couldn't think bigger or even be open to say, hey, I need help, let's brainstorm, or let me start applying for another job, let me get an hourly job, let me figure this out. The fact that that was it That is a lot of people's mentality. And I know that because I've worked with them. I've been in corporate. There are people that just want to do their job, do it until they retire, and that's it. And there are people that are still wanting to do new things, and they're 50 or close to 50 or over 50, and they still are trying to figure it out, but there's no action. See, for a lot of people are perfectionists, and you're gonna get this word too. When you're a perfectionist, you are paralyzing your growth, because done is better than perfect. And I don't think enough people hear that. There are people running around circles over you because you're so paralyzed in that perfectionism. And that may be stopping you from going to another job or all this stuff. And then there's some other people that are just so consumed with the right here and right now that they can't take time to think about how they can expand their monetary restrictions and make more money. They are just like, I just need to get through this day. And then getting through this day is what they're doing every day. And then next thing you know, it's been 6 months and you have nothing to show for it. Other people are like, let me take a day or even a vacation day to like build my business. And so that type of 9-to-5er, I think, is what I call that 9-to-5 mentality. And those type of people are just not compatible with me, and there is no growth. You know, people are like, well, Tyler Perry was homeless. Okay, but he was working on a vision. So a lot of people that are working in their jobs right now that are working on their vision, that's not the same. There's a lot of people that are learning stock, learning Forex, learning cryptocurrency. That's that mentality that I'm looking for my multiple streams. I'm trying to build my wealth. I always say your job is fine. It's one stream, but what else can you do? And that's what is attractive to me. For my birthday, I had 2 dates. One date, he's more of an entrepreneur. The next day, he has his 9-to-5. Both support the vision, and both I am attracted to. But their mentality and their hustle is different. It's not like what I described in that situation. It's something different. And I'm also able to give feedback and critique without anything happening because they're confident in themselves. See, when I called out this person and saying, wait, you're spending all this time working endless hours, getting less sleep. You're also not taking away from the time that you could be working in your business, all for $300. Are you sure this is the best use of your time? Are you sure that there's nothing else that you can be doing to make money, that you can have something else? Maybe you want to hire a VA or any of that stuff. I said those things and then was like, call me when you're done with your shift and we can discuss. He didn't hit me up anymore. Next thing you know, I get a message on Instagram like, you know, you ripped me a new one and then you like ignored me or went silent. And it's like, no, I didn't. I said, call me when you need it. And honestly, those type of people, like, he felt really upset because I obviously hit a soft spot. I obviously hit a trigger. But there was some truth in that. And for me, people pay me to ask those questions and see the issue. So when I do it to my friends, or when I do it to my suitors, or when I do it to anyone that pays me or feels confident in themselves, they don't feel a type of way. But when you're one of those people that you've dedicated so much time to your 9-to-5, to a career that has no upward mobility, then you feel a certain type of way when other people that are not doing that call you out on it and say, hey, are you sure you really want to dream, or are you just kind of talking? Because it's the difference between dreamers and doers. And I feel like if you don't fit that category, then you're not offended. If I was a man and I was an executive, I would be hitting her in her DMs and be like, baby, let me take you out. I'm a boss in my own right. I have this, I have that, I have this, and I have that. It shouldn't be a thing. Now, if I'm in a situation where I'm in a dead-end job and I'm unhappy with my situation, I'm happy with my life and everything, now I'm offended, now I'm triggered, and now I need to do this dragging. And I'm just gonna end it with this. Men, particularly black men, regardless if you agree or disagree with someone's opinion or anything like that, the way that people are responding to her, especially black men, just the nastiness in their replies, something is wrong with you, and you really need to check that. As just a whole, we need to start talking to each other with more respect. But if we ever in a situation where we disagree, I'm gonna need you not to respond back to me with curse words and call me on my name. We're better than that. And she doesn't deserve that type of drag, and I'm really disappointed in some of you guys. But I end this off to say, if you feel triggered by a celebrity not wanting you or thinking that's your type, I implore you to go to therapy. If you're not happy with your life, this is the perfect time for you to change it. Figure out what you need to do to get to that next level. See, the thing is, we don't owe you anything. Regardless of where she's coming from, she doesn't have to marry poor or marry in the gutter or marry from the hood just because she's from there. That's why people go to school. That's why people join organizations. That's why people network. That's why people get certain jobs. That's why people build their own business, to elevate themselves so that they don't have to do that. And if you are still in that situation and you feel some type of way about that, then change your situation so that you won't have to do the same as well. And I'm gonna end you on that. If anybody has any questions, please leave it in the comment below. If you are want to continue the conversation, please share it with a friend. Go ahead and like this video, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.